Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're discussing the Maîtres du Temps, Chapter 2, a one-of-one piece unique example in white gold. You can see and you can own this user-friendly tonneau case calendar watch on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this triple calendar automatic piece unique in white gold. Now in 2012 we first saw the Maîtres du Temps Chapter 2, the follow-up to the impossibly complicated, expensive, and virtually unwearable Chapter 1. While a formidable statement watch, that wasn't necessarily the one you'd want to wear and use every day, whereas this timepiece, featuring the same high style and the same impressive master watchmaker patrimony, is a very useful reference for writing correspondence, dating memos, or emails, while at the same time maintaining a striking look and a sense of heft that reminds you this is something special. Now on my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference, you'll note that the watch is more high and broad than long across the wrist. So in terms of the actual dimensions of this guy, 42.5 millimeters across the broad from 9 to 3, not including the day of the week toggle and the crown, so about 42.5 across the wrist. It's 15.6 millimeters thick, but it looks thicker. It's really more compact top to bottom, and it wears that way thanks to the generously sloped flank of the case. I'm not sure I would call it a bezel, but the case flank is stepped and sloped, so you will be able to get a suit jacket cuff up and over it without too much hassle. And now the length across the wrist is actually a very manageable 58.3. Hold on. Don't chuckle. I did say manageable 58.3. As you can see, the watch pretty much just sits on the wrist. It doesn't look like it's trying to envelop or swallow your forearm. Somehow, a watch of this size wears well on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, to the point where I would say it would essentially look and fit the same on a wrist as small as 15 centimeters in circumference. That said, if you're one of those big guys who wants a big watch that's not going to look like a postage stamp or a penny strapped to your wrist, this is a good option. It has sizable heft, and its functional size, as you can see, most of the volume of the case is taken up by the scrolling month and day of the week displays at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, so it's not just empty volume. All of the geography of this sizable piece is used. The strap, as you can see, is close coupled on both sides to the point that there's really no daylight visible between strap and case. I like the integration of the look. It's handsome, but I also like the fact that MDT went out of their way to make the strap quite flexible. You can pull it straight down. It doesn't have the virtual flare that you get on some watches, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Navy, you can see how it fights me. The strap won't pull down. That's why this watch, which is actually 58.5 millimeters from the outer plot to the outer plot on the opposite side, this wears like 58 across the wrist. Whereas this watch is actually phenomenal in its ergonomic logic. And there, you just pull the strap straight down for an easy fit, and the strap is wonderfully thin, beautifully made, with a medium alligator scale and navy blue monotone stitch, folded edges, very soft, supple, and comfortable. It's paired with a clasp that's as massive as the watch. As you can see, twin trigger actuation. On the inside, white gold, blasted finish. On the outside, you can see the buckle itself actually echoes the form of the case. So attention to detail. This is artisanal watchmaking at the near bespoke level, as this is a piece unique. No detail is overlooked. The clasp is also massive. It's important to note that this is a white gold clasp that nicely counterweights the massive watch head. Therefore, if you are one to wear your watch loose, having that huge clasp on the bottom will help to counterweight it so it doesn't want to go tipsy-turvy over the side of your wrist. Nice. It's like wearing a heavy sports watch with a heavy bracelet and clasp. The case is complicated, but it's coherent. All of the forms seem to echo the sweep of the case in miniature, and you can see that in profile. It's almost like a Russian doll when viewed from profile, as you have a diminishing tonneau form or teardrop shape that starts with the outer contours of the case, and again in the bevel shrinks, in the center case shrinks yet again, and then in the black or optically smooth polished center, once more. The crystals, and you are looking at a couple of them here, are all cambered to trace the curve of the case, which is both impressive because they spent real money to do it, and a technical feat, since achieving water resistance with this many individual non-round sapphires must have been a serious pain, even to dress watch water resistance standards. Now you'll note the dial, engine turned at center, beautifully executed. Everything that looks like polished metal on the dial is actually white gold, and you'll note beautiful double-faceted alpha-style hands for hours, minutes, and seconds. You'll also note that the hour track is raised substantially, so this dial has a good deal of depth, and the white on blue and white on black printing offers outstanding contrast. Now the thing about this calendar is that it takes the signature roller displays that were established with the Chapter 1 and then continue through the Chapter 3, and this Chapter 2 uses them to create an instantaneous change calendar in which all indications jump simultaneously at precisely midnight. You might want to rewind this one as soon as we're done because you're going to want to see this again. Boom, just like that. Now, there's more to it than that, of course. Let me pull the crown out and demonstrate, but you'll see it's also supposed to be the world's most user-friendly, note hacking or stop seconds right there. It's supposed to be the world's most user-friendly calendar watch, and therefore, by using easily accessible pushers, this one actually actuates the date and confirms that this is a 1 of 1. There's also a set of actuators on the case back for the month and the day, and it's as easy as actuating the date change. And you'll note that you can also see the barrels through the case back. This watch has no fewer than 6 individual non-round sapphires. Did I say this was a tough watch to waterproof? Well, waterproof it isn't, but water resistant it is, and impressive at that. Let's talk a little bit about that movement. It has a 50-hour power reserve, and as you can see, let me turn it at the right angle, it features automatic winding with twin mainspring barrels for a very even and meaty torque release throughout that 50-hour reserve necessary to jump the calendar. That takes more energy than you might think. The rotor is beautifully guilloche cut on a traditional rose lathe, as is the dial. The dial is guilloche, rose lathe style, and so is the rotor, which is a beautiful golden mass. It actually rewards viewing under a loupe in its own right. Now there's actually a sort of undulating sun ray coat that emanates out from the center, roughly where the bearing is for the winding system, and yes, it uses ceramic bearings, unlubricated, but it's almost hard to show the sunray style coat across the bridge of the winding system and the barrel bridge. It's beautifully executed, and the level of anglage you get on the edge of each bridge, hand finished, mirrored, and rounded, it's an execution that will not disappoint. It's on the level of what you would see from the likes of Audemars Piguet or Vacheron Constantin. It's that good. Now the movement is relatively compact to the point that you do struggle to see it a little bit, but rest assured, once you get a clear view of any bridge, screw, plate, or individual component, everything is finished to the highest standard. And of course, once more, I'll demonstrate that the watch does feature hacking or stop seconds, so though accurate to intervals as large as a month, it can also be set to intervals as short as 1 second. A handsome watch that brings a lot to the table. This is the ultimate triple calendar watch, short of some sort of annual or perpetual complication, far more usable than virtually any calendar, and created by an imposing trio of Roger Dubuis, Daniel Roth, and Peter Speak-Marin. That's the idea behind Maîtres du Temps, masters of time, artisans and their trade, and this was their second collaboration. One of the world's most intriguing and imposing calendar watches. You can see it on this one on our website.